here's the beautiful truth, right? You know, we talked about idols and things like that, right? I forget who says it, but like there's a truth in saying that the human heart is an idol making factory, and it can make idols out of anything. And oftentimes for Catholics, our idol becomes like obligation. And so it's like, are we going to Mass to check a box? Are we going to Mass to say, like, I went to Mass, I fulfilled the Sunday obligation, right? Even like the word like holy day of obligation. Are they holy days of obligation, or are they holy days of opportunity, right? Holy days, because like at the end of the day, like we're not going to Mass to check a box. We're going to Mass to commune with the Lord in the most holy of ways, where we consume him and he consumes us. Right? That's what's happening. And as we like it's so beautiful that even the word Mass itself comes from the Latin word mise, which means ending. Right? So we go to Mass, we're going to the ending. Why? Not because, and you know, we even say it at the end of Mass, right? We're like, the Mass is end to go forth in peace. And we say, thanks be to God, not because we're excited to go to Denny's afterwards, but because we're excited to go out because we've consumed Christ and we become what we consume, so that now we can go out in the world and become his hands and feet. All I'm saying is that oftentimes in the Catholic world, and we see this especially with like older Catholics, where it's the obligation of, oh, I have to go to Mass, or I have to do this, I have to pray my rosary. And all those things are holy, but in as much as they lead you to Jesus. And I think the beauty of the Protestant church in this day and age is so many of them, and I wouldn't say all of them, but so many of them are focused on the person of Jesus Christ. And I think we are coming to that Catholic moment of like, where people are realizing that Jesus is central to everything, and we're kind of awakening to that. And we see that with like the movement towards intentional discipleship. We're not there yet because we still have a lot of that old school mentality left in the church, but I think we are getting there. And I think the beauty of the Protestant church is that, you know, I and I don't know if I've said this yet, but like I feel like Protestants are oftentimes, in terms of their ministry strategy, they're like 20 years ahead of us. Is like they recognize like Jesus is an incarnational God. So he exists in spaces like this, in relationships, in conversation, over coffee. Like this is where he thrives. And so like, let's invite people to spaces like this. And oftentimes we as Catholics are like, well, I don't know why people aren't coming to Mass. It must be because they're heathens. And like, we just leave it there, right? We're like, oh man, the young people aren't coming to Mass. It's probably because they want to go get drunk and have sex, right? But the reality is they're not coming to Mass because they haven't encountered the person of Jesus. And so like, why would we expect people to live like heaven when they've never experienced heaven, right? We get mad at people for living like hell, but that's all they know. And so like there's nothing inviting them into the church. You have to go out and invite them. You have to be the hands and feet. You have to say, hey, do you want to come to Mass? Or hey, like Jesus loves you, right? Like those are the basic things, right? You have to go out of your way and like literally evangelize. Matthew 25, to be the hands, the feet, the Great Commission, right? Like we lack that so much as Catholics because we've just been brought up on obligation. And I think like if we could just have that mind, the heart posture shift from obligation to discipleship and following intentionally. Because here's the truth of the matter. We're all discipled by something. And oftentimes Catholics, like we get discipled by obligation.